Good afternoon, sixth graders. This is Miss Bradford, and I am joining your fundamentals classes today to teach you a little bit about how to use Aspen. Before we begin, please make sure you have your laptop and planner out on your desk. And fundamentals teachers, I'm not going to pause to give students time to follow each direction, but please feel free to pause this video as you need to. I am hoping students follow along. So, a little overview. Aspen is what's called our student database, which means it's a place where lots of information about students lives. It's a useful tool for teachers, parents, and students. And today I'm going to teach you how to log in and find the information that's most useful to you as a sixth grader. The first step is finding the Concord Aspen login page. Aspen is a tool that's used by many schools, so you need to make sure that you are on the Concord Aspen homepage and not another school's. You can do this in a couple ways. You can Google Aspen Concord Mass, or you can type in the URL that you see at the top of my screen, ma-concord.myfollette.com/Aspen. And that should take you to a page that looks like this, where you're seeing Concord Public Schools, Concord Carlisle, and a place to type in your login and password. Once you've gotten to this page, please take a moment to bookmark it. This is a page you will use frequently, and it's much easier to click on your bookmark. You can see I have mine up here than it is to Google this again in the future. For those of you who have never logged into Aspen, you're going to use the same login and password that you use to get into your laptop. So that's your first initial, last name, year of graduation for the login, and then for the password, your student ID. We are going to be using a pretend student named Frank Gracious today. So I'm going to type in F Gracious for the login, F for Frank and then Gracious. We're going to pretend he's in sixth grade, so his year of graduation is 29. And then for his password, I'm going to type in his student ID. So this again is for students who have never logged into Aspen. Try that one more time. I spelled Frank's name wrong. And again, you're using the 29 at the end of this for year of graduation. For those of you who have logged into Aspen previously, your login stays the same. It's that first initial, last name, year of graduation. But Aspen prompts you upon first login to change your password. So some students are going to see the homepage that you're seeing in front of you now, and some students are going to be prompted to change their password. For those of you who are being prompted to type in a new password, this is a moment where your planner will be useful. You have lots of passwords going on right now, and it's sometimes difficult to remember what they are. Aspen is one that you are really going to need to remember. It's one that locks you out if you try too many times to type the wrong password. So as you reset your password, I have a couple of suggestions. Pick something that is close to your student ID. Maybe add an exclamation point or 2 exclamation points to that student ID so that it's easier to remember. And whatever you decide to do for your password, whether it's that or something else, please write it down in your planner. You can pick a random page. You can maybe pick your birthday page in your planner and just write that password down. Mr. Cesare can help if you can't get into Aspen. Miss Rose can help, but they won't respond immediately to password requests. They can't. So it's much easier if you just know what your password is and can find it on your own. So when you're done either resetting your password or logging in because you've already logged in and know what your new password is, you're going to see a homepage that looks like this. Hopefully it says your name up in the right-hand corner and then also over here. And the homepage has a couple of useful things on it. You have this recent activity page that you can actually choose what you see. I've selected for Frank that he can see attendance updates and grades updates from the last 30 days. So anytime a teacher enters a new grade, you're going to see what that grade is right in this box. And same thing, if you're marked absent or tardy in a class, it'll show up under attendance. And he has everything in this box from the last 30 days. If you want something more recent, you can choose that. It's really up to you what you want to see in that box. There's also the published reports box. This doesn't have anything too interesting in it yet, but when you have your report card at the end of trimester 1, a PDF of that will show up under published reports. And next summer, as a rising seventh grader, when I publish schedules, your new schedule will show up also in this publish reports box. Anytime you hear the term a report is being published to Aspen, this is where it'll show up right here. And if you double click on it, you can open that report. The next thing we're going to check out in Aspen is the My Info tab. My Info is info about you, so a lot of it you already know, especially on this front page, the My Details page. Over on the left here, transcript is something that's really more of a high school tool. So we're going to skip down to where it says current schedule. And this is where you can see a live version of your schedule. You can see Frank's missing some classes. Your schedule should be complete. So this is useful if you're not sure what class you have next and have your laptop open in the previous class. You can check that out on your Aspen My Info tab. And it will also be where I post new classes for trimester 2. When fundamentals ends, you'll be assigned to an enrichment or intervention class, and you'll be able to see what that is 1 or 2 days before the new trimester starts by looking at your Aspen schedule. Some students find the contacts tab useful. If you do not have a cell phone and don't know your parents' phone numbers by heart, which some students don't, this is where you can find that information. Maybe you're looking for a work number. And then the only other thing in the My Info tab that's interesting is attendance. You can check to see if you've been marked absent or tardy in a class if you're curious about that. Frank's doing pretty well in attendance here. The tab that I think you all will use the most is the academics top tab. So we're going to spend a while looking at this. The main page shows you all of your classes along with general information about your current grade and your attendance. A really important thing to remember, all information in Aspen is fluid until it becomes a published report. That means it changes as teachers update your grade. So you'll see Frank here has a 0 in social studies. That's not a reason to panic. It just means that maybe he's missing something or should see what he needs to make up or retake. At this early point in the trimester, there are only a couple of assignments affecting each class. So if there's one missing homework assignment, it's having a big impact on your grade. And as the trimester goes on and there are more assignments in there, it will have a smaller impact. So you have to look at these term performance numbers just as a current snapshot of information. It's not a reason to panic. It's just potentially a reason to check in with a teacher. And it changes constantly as teachers are entering information about grades and assignments. So this overall grade doesn't provide you with so much helpful information. If you want more details about what's going on with a particular grade, you need to click on the course description here that's blue, and it's going to take you to a couple of different things if you do that. This is the first level of detail that you get. So you'll see attendance summary for this specific class. We're under English now. And then it's also going to tell you what categories your teacher uses in Aspen for grading. So in English, on Team Lyme, Mr. Shepard is using 3 categories: foundational assignments, major assignments, and supporting assignments. And everything Mr. Shepard grades is going to fall into one of those 3 categories. Now, something that's interesting on this page, it tells you what weight each of these categories gets. And that's useful because it means assignments in the category of supporting assignments, for example, which has a weight of 50%, are going to have a bigger impact on your grade than an assignment in the major assignment category and then a foundational assignment. So you may wonder, wow, I just turned in this one assignment and my grade went up by 10 points. How is that possible? Probably it was in this highly weighted supporting assignments category. So it's useful to see what weights your teachers are using for different categories. Different classes do it differently, and it's just a good idea to kind of have a sense of how it works in each class. The most useful tab, though, is this assignments tab here. So if we look here, we can see that Mr. Shepard has graded 7 assignments in English, and Frank has done a pretty good job staying on top of them. So he has gotten 100% on all of these. Sometimes this will say 50, sometimes this will say missing. It tells you what the percent score on each of these assignments is. So especially if you have been out for a couple days and are wondering what you're missing, or if you see that overall grade and you're wondering what's leading to it, this academics and then assignments tab is really useful. So that's really all you need to know about navigating Aspen, but I do want to take this opportunity to say a few things about grades and grading in general. Remember that your total grade is a reflection only of the assignments that have been graded and entered so far. If only one tiny homework assignment has been graded, that one assignment makes up 100% of your final grade. When a second assignment is entered, that first assignment is worth less, etc. So if you log into Aspen and see that you have a low final grade, please do not panic, especially this early in the term. It is likely that your grade will bounce around with each new entered assignment, and especially as you have more assignments that are weighted more later in the trimester. Number two, your teachers have all kinds of things in place to help you learn the material they are teaching, because a lot of kids need a little extra help. If you're struggling with something the first time around or feeling discouraged with a grade in a class, just ask your teacher what you should do, and they will tell you. Maybe you need to turn in a missing assignment. Maybe you need to attend office hours and review a concept before retaking a quiz. Maybe you could just go to a lunch bunch and catch up on a few things you missed when you were out for a couple of days. Grades are not a reflection of who you are. They are feedback on work that you've done and work that you still may need to do. And then lastly, just an ask, please don't share information about your grades or ask friends about their grades. You telling a friend you got an A on something may make that friend feel bad because they got an A minus, even if that's not your intention. So use Aspen, use it as a tool. Don't let it stress you out, and please be private about it. If you have any questions or are having trouble logging into Aspen, just let your fundamentals teacher know. Ms. Rose is available for the rest of this block to help with students who are struggling to log in. And your teachers, myself, guidance counselors will help you get sort of a handle on how to use Aspen moving forward. Thank you for your time today.